All right, we're ready, and this is what we'll be covering today in the PowerPoint tips and tricks. All right, so a couple of things. The 10, 20, 30 rule, you might have heard of that before. You have 10 slides that last no more than 20 minutes and contain no font smaller than 30 points size. Why? Because you want the audience to not get too bored. It shouldn't be too long, but it should have not a lot of information on each slide. It should have large text so that you're able to have the audience see it easily. Now, we also have, you might have heard of the 6 and 6 rule, 6 words per line, 6 lines per slide. So that's something that you can add to this 10, 20, 30 rule. So 6 words per line, 6 lines per slide. That way there, you're not adding too much information per slide. So these are just some tips we're going to go over first. One of the things is you can start with a summary. So you can summarize your presentation, 10 to 15 words, give your audience a clear idea of what they're going to learn, which actually stimulates anticipation and lets them see the whole story before you start the presentation. Now, I do want to show you that you can create a summary slide. And that summary slide, here are the directions. You can go to the Insert tab off of the ribbon and choose Zoom. So I'm going to demonstrate this just for some of you. There's 2 different things that I'm going to show you, but I'm going to show you, first of all, let's get into this presentation right here. And let's say I wanted to create a summary slide with all 3 slides on it. So again, I'd go to Insert. I'd go to the Zoom, which is right here, and I would do Summary Zoom. And when I click on Summary Zoom, what it's going to do is bring up this screen, which allows me to click on each slide that I would like in the summary. Now, a lot of the presentations that you might create have different topics or different chapters or different intro slides. So you might pick only the intro slides. I'm just going to pick all of these slides right here so that you can see a more dramatic display. I'm going to come down and click on Insert. So you might not click all of the slides, but now it's created one slide that is a summary slide, and I can put here summary and or introduction or whatever, and I can show the slides. Now that is one way of showing what the audience is going to cover, and especially if you're only using 10 slides, then this presentation slide here will be easy to read because you don't have a lot of slides on there. But another way is to do this. File, and when you go to print, you're going to choose, instead of full page slides, you're going to choose outline. And this outline allows you to see an outline and print it off this way. And also you're able to take maybe a screenshot of it so that you can have it and put on a slide. So this is showing you the names of the slides and the topics of the slides, and you could either print it or copy it and put it on a slide. So those are just some options that you can do. A summary slide is a great way to present and also at the end do a summary of what you went over. Whoops. Hold on a second. Here we go. The next thing is to create a script. Maybe writing a script is going to be helpful to you before you actually create the slides or after. But just remember, tell a story in chronological order. Use slide sorter once you've written maybe all your main slides so that you can now move them around or see what your story is about. So for example, if I jump back into this presentation here and I go to, I'll just delete the summary slide for just a moment. So I'll right click and delete slide. But I'm going to go to slide sorter view, which is down the bottom here. Here's the slide sorter button. I'm going to click on slide sorter view, and the thing is I've made what we call summary sections with the Zoom. So maybe I should show you, it'll be easier if I show you this presentation which we're going to be using for masters. And I'll go into slide sorter view. And you can see now, when you go into slide sorter view, you're able to drag, I'm sure most of you know this, you're able to drag around the slides and reorder them. And that's going to be important for when you tell your story. So tell your story in chronological order. You might be getting slides from other people and you're adding them into your presentation. So you want to make sure that you know what slides you are working with before you give. Here, I'm going to hit escape for a second. Let's get rid of this summary section. Here we go. All right, let's get this rolling again. Okay, here we go. All right. So the other thing that I would highly recommend is to view your PowerPoint presentation from an audience's perspective. You know, is the content simplified? Do you recap and have the opportunity to recap often? I would say that if you're giving a presentation, we highly recommend that try not to be too difficult to understand, giving too many details. Remember, the audience is thinking faster than you can speak. They're reading faster than you can speak. So one line at a time using custom animation is a good idea. Be passionate about your subject. As we mentioned before, avoid too much text. Definitely use images, pictures, anything that can add to the credibility of your text. Be consistent with colors and designs. We're going to talk about that. And I highly recommend that you do a dry run and practice many times your PowerPoint presentation before you give it so that you're not surprised when a slide comes up and you're not sure what to say there, as well as do not read the text on the slide. If you need to look at it and revamp it a little bit in your mind and reword it, that would be much better. Remember, they're listening, they're reading, and they're comprehending what you have to say. And I'm sure you've all heard of death by PowerPoint. So you don't be the fault. Please don't be the one that, so you've got your PowerPoint deck, right? Your slides, and then you're the presenter. So don't be the one that's at fault. Maybe your slides are amazing and wonderful, but they don't focus on the right topic and you're not focusing on the topic and you might be all over the place. Maybe you're reading your slides and don't be boring. I'm trying to tell you to be a little bit more passionate and just interested in what your slide deck is about. Somebody else might have created the slide deck. Oh, thank you. I've got a typo. It says remember, and it should be, I'm missing again, a letter. So thank you for that. So anyways, I get distracted, right? So you be the one that people are going to remember as well as the information. Remember, you could have just easily emailed them the PowerPoint presentation and let them look at it themselves. So again, they're here to be a little bit of dazzled. So go ahead and dazzle them. All right, before we actually get into the demonstration piece, was there anything about these slides that we talked about? So don't be the one that's at fault. And sorry, let's go back. Let's go back here. How about the 10, 20, 30 rule? Have you ever thought about how much you're putting on a PowerPoint slide? Make sure that you summarize and don't make it too wordy. And maybe create a summary slide. And I love how that happens. Okay, here we go. Let's get out of that summary slide again. It's a fun thing to do. But also writing a script, telling the story in chronological order, viewing it from the audience perspective. So any comments or anything that you want to go over again, let me know and put it in the chat. I'll be glad to. So while I'm waiting for you to type, I think I'm going to talk about themes. Themes are very important. Now, most companies will have their own theme, and you'll only be able to use that theme. And what that theme is going to do, it's going to put in colors, maybe in the background, or a logo from the company. Someone's going to create that theme and save it as a template. They're going to email it out, and everyone's going to use it. So how do you create a theme and how do you use a theme is very important. So let's go back to this PowerPoint presentation and notice there are no colors, no themes in this background. I'm going to go to normal view and I'm going to come up here to design. And what I can do is choose from a theme here and customize it if I want, or start with a blank empty slide. It's okay if it has some text in it, but no colors, and start adding in shapes and colors and maybe logos myself. And so then you would save it as a template. And when you save it as a template, everyone can use it. So again, you start with a theme. Maybe you start with one of these themes. Maybe you change the color of the theme by using the variants. Maybe you add different shapes and logos, and then you're going to go to design, and you're going to be able to save that as a template. So file, in my case, I'm doing save as a copy, and right here, you're going to see that PowerPoint template. So you can save that as a template. You can also save it as what we call a design theme and use that over and over again. So, I tend to lose when I have too many PowerPoints open at the same time. I tend to lose my cursor. So I'm going to just hit undo and hit undo until it looks again as this blank background. And I'm going to go to design and show you that we have a custom for mass hire, a custom design. So that's a template that was emailed to us, and I added it here. I saved it, and now it depends on what layout I use. So if I go home, and here I'm just going to go back to the PowerPoint for a minute and then go back to this, and there is my arrow. So if I go home and I change the layout, I'll see the different layouts, and I like this layout for my title slide. So this is a title slide layout. Notice it comes with the Mass Hire logos, the green colors, and some text boxes. But also I want you to notice that it has been applied. Look at the slide bar, or let me go to slide sorter so you can see that it has been applied to all of the slides. Now this slide here, let's go to layout. That's a title only slide. That's why it's only got a green box going across the top. This one also is, if I go to layout, a title only slide. You can see it right here in the gray. And the last one is also a title only slide, because all I needed was a title at the top. So now I've applied a design theme to all of my slides. I'm going to hit undo. All right, I'm going to go back to normal view and show you once again. Design, click the down arrow on any theme, choose a theme, and it will be applied to all of your slides. So I'm going to stick with this theme for just a moment. And I do want you to notice that whatever theme you choose, the color of the text might change, the font of the text might change, and the background color might change. There may be shapes on this. And so this can be edited in what we call master view, which we will talk about. So have you been using design themes before? Anybody? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Has there been a company design theme that you've used before? Or have you used one of these design themes that is in PowerPoint? So I've got a bunch of yeses and some nos. So again, very easily, the design theme is choosing one of these on the design tab clicking on it, and it will change all of the slides. Now, I do want you to notice this title slide and where the blue and the black lines are. And I want you to notice that it's slightly different on the title only slides. So when you are putting in a design theme to a set of slides that already exists, take a look. Let's choose this one. Sometimes you have to go back, like this text right here doesn't fit into the white box. Sometimes you have to go back and then change the size or move the text to see if it fits on the design theme that you chose. For example, this slide. Now I have a little bit more work to do because there's a line that goes across. Could I delete that line? Yes, in the master, I'll show you. But I might have to move this up or down or make this a little bit smaller. Notice the text is changed color. So I'm just going to hit undo and just show you again that no matter what particular style and design that you choose, take a look at these. The title slide typically will look a little different. And then the other slides will look just almost the same, but slightly different. So notice this green triangle is down here. And on the title slide, it was up here. And then notice this slide will require some work so that I would need to move that around. All right, so can you create a design theme and add it to a presentation that you just started? Absolutely. That's a great question. Somebody put that in the chat. File, new, blank presentation. Don't even type. I'm going to just go to design. I'll use the mass higher. I'll go to layout and choose my title slide. And now I'm starting with a template, which is a design theme in the background. And now every time I add a new slide, I'll go up here and add a new slide. And maybe I will decide that the slide is going to be a title and content slide. And the next slide is going to be a 3 content slide. And so every layout that I use, the theme is continuing into each one of these slides. So it's great when you start a new presentation and you add a theme right away. You know where to type, you know where the text is going to come out, you know what color the text is going to be. It all matches the theme. But as I showed you, when you create the slides already, which sometimes it happens because you're getting slides from other people as well, after you've created the presentation, you can choose a theme, of course. But then again, that theme might look good, or you might find that you have to change and move some things on a slide. Okay, so these 2 slides, I'd need to do some work if I really liked this particular theme. All right, I'm going to hit undo. I don't see any other questions in the chat about a theme. So one thing I am going to do, hold on a second. Let's see. I'm going to just take some of these transitions off. All right. Okay. How do you delete a text box that is not needed? Oh, that is a very simple, easy question. Let's chat about that. So let's say I go into this slide and there's a text box right here that I want to get rid of. You always click on the border of the text box and then you hit delete if you never want it, right? But please, that brings me to something that I want to bring to your attention. The other way to delete a text box is to maybe choose a different layout. So when you go to layout, let's say this slide is a title slide, but you only really want it to be a title only. Better to choose title only. Therefore, that extra text box was also deleted. So if you want to keep the layout, but you know you're not going to ever use this text box, click on the border, which is the outline of the text box, and hit delete. If you know that you don't like this style, meaning this layout, which is a title slide, and you'd prefer some other option, then you would choose that. Now, someone had mentioned to me prior to this class is that they create their presentations, file new, blank presentation, and they go to the layout and they choose blank. Bad idea. Why? You're going to see this. I'm going to get to hopefully the master, and you're going to see that now there's no layout that PowerPoint will recognize. So don't start with a blank slide unless you absolutely are going to just put a big picture and fill this screen and that's it. Start with a title slide, title content, title only, one of these layouts, which will give you text boxes to type inside. All right, let's go back. That was a great question. So I've given you instructions on how to customize a personalized template. And if, for example, you choose a template or you're using a company, you can call it a theme or a template, and you need to change it. Somebody says, hey, can you move that particular, let's say it's a logo, move it right or left. These are the instructions to do so. Now, here's some other tips and tricks that I want to go over, and then I will go back to what we call the master and definitely show you some things in the master, which is going to help you edit designs as well as edit your entire presentation. So before we move on to that, though, that'll save that to the end. I just wanted to show you how many of you have done animations before. How many of you have added custom animations to your presentations? Well, I should even ask, is there anyone out there that has never done a presentation before in PowerPoint? Never created the slides? Let me know. No one else can see your name. I'm not displaying this, so it's just between you and I. It's just good information for me to know. Is there anyone out there that has never created a PowerPoint presentation before? So this class is really a jump from the PowerPoint basics. So some of the things that I'm going to show you, I would assume that you had some previous knowledge, but stick around. Don't worry. All right. I still want you to be here, but you may want to go to our YouTube channel and watch the PowerPoint basics first and then watch this again. And once you fill in the blanks of your knowledge with the PowerPoint basics, it'll be much easier to understand some of these things that I am going to go over. One of the things I'm going to go over is how to copy animations to other objects. So again, stick around. Don't worry, but I am going to show you a few things that maybe you are not familiar with. So I am going to go to this presentation, and I'm going to go to this slide right here. And I have 1, 2, 3 objects. And I'm going to click on this picture, and I'm going to go to animations and custom animation. Now, again, I'm not teaching custom animation right at the moment, but if you watch me, you will then learn how to do animation. I'm going to do add animation. I think I'll choose a, let's say, split, and it is going to split. And I would like this to happen automatically, which is called after previous. It's going to start once I run the slideshow. And the duration is the speed, and I'm going to increase the number here to make the animation a little bit longer. And then I'm going to say that I would like the animation that I chose, which was split, which was after previous, and a little bit longer, which is about 3 seconds it'll take. I would like to apply that to the other objects that are on this screen. So I'm going to come up, I'm looking at the Animations tab on PowerPoint. I'm going to come to the Animation Painter. And I'm going to click on the animation painter, and notice as I move my mouse, you're going to see that I get a paintbrush. Now I'm going to click here, and it's going to add that same type of animation onto this object. So again, I'm going to click on the picture that already has animation. I'm going to click on the animation painter, which actually copies the animation. And then I'm going to click on an object. Could be text, it could be other shapes. And I'm going to click, and it's going to apply that to this text as well. So when I run the slideshow, take a look. The picture's coming up. Then the hierarchy of the organization chart, and then the great people will show up. So consistency is really good when you're giving a presentation. Too many people use too many wild animations, and it really distracts from the topic. So if you use the same animation that you choose on one object and apply it with the animation painter, that will help with consistency. So here are the instructions, copying animations from one object and pasting them onto the other. So try it when you have a chance. All right. So the next thing is, how many of you use shapes and maybe customize the shape? And then you're like, oh, I'd like to use that shape like an arrow on every single slide. And it gets really cumbersome to have to edit that shape every single time. So changing the shape to be a default shape after you've customized it is a great way of using PowerPoint. So notice the instructions are right here. So you're going to get this again at the end of this training. But let's go back to this PowerPoint presentation. So right now I'm back to this one right here. Remember, I have the same presentation here, just with the background. So we use the design, right? So what if on the first slide, I would like an arrow pointing to Mass Higher Metro North? So again, if you've never added in a shape before, it's insert and then shapes. So again, if this is beginner information for you, pay attention to what I'm doing. If you've done this many times, you'll understand what I'm doing. But if not, feel free to watch. And I'm inserting a shape, and I'm going to click on this arrow. Now I'm going to get across here and drag it diagonally, and there is my arrow. The only thing is I don't like the color, so I'm going to come up to the tab that shows up called Shape Format, and I'm going to go to Shape Fill. I'll click the down arrow on Shape Fill, and let's say I want it to be green. And then the Shape Outline. I'd like to go to Shape Outline and say that I'd like to use kind of a gold color, and I can barely see it. So I go back to Shape Outline, and I go down to Weight. And these are lines of thickness and thinness, so I think I'll choose this right here, maybe this one. And now you can see, hopefully you can see the, maybe I'll make the changes. Here, I'll do gold in the middle and green on the outside. How's that? And now you can really see this shape. And maybe this arrow you want to use over and over again. You see, every time you insert an arrow, so you go to Insert Shapes, and you insert an arrow, it's going to come up gray, and you don't want it to be gray. So you want to click on this shape, and notice, I'll go back so that you can see the instructions. You insert the shape, you dress it up, and then you're going to right click on the shape. So that's what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to go to this shape and right click, and notice Set as Default Shape. So I'm going to click once with my left mouse button. Now the right mouse brings up the menu. The left mouse I use to make my choice. So I have set this as a default. What does that mean? Well, let's go to the next slide. So again, I'm jumping in and out of these presentations so that you can see. So you insert the same shape and it will be formatted. So let's go back and do that. Insert, shapes. I'm going to choose this arrow, and this time the arrow comes up as the default. I can go to any slide I want, insert the shape, click on the arrow, and it is the default color, an outline color, and there are so many other things I can do with a shape. It will be the default. All right, any questions with that? Setting up a default shape. All right, any questions? Go ahead and put those in the chat. Anyone feeling that this is above their skill level? Don't worry, this is going to be great information. And what we're going to talk about next is called a slide master. But, oh, how do you size an arrow? Oh, that's a question. And these are great questions. They are basic questions. So all shapes, when you click on them, whether you click on the picture or you click on this is called word art and this is called smart art, they all come with handles around the outside edge which are those little circles. And those circles allow you to bring your mouse onto that circle. Sorry, I've got to bounce back. I keep losing my cursor. There we go. So I get on a circle. I like to get on a corner circle. And you drag in a diagonal to make it larger. And you drag in a diagonal down to make it smaller. You drag this circle here to make it longer. And you can also make it shorter by dragging. So getting on a circle, which is a handle. Now to move this, you always go to either the object or the border, and you'll be able to drag it around. So a four-headed arrow means to move, and a double arrow on one of these circles, which we call handles, allows you to size. All right, let's go back to the master. So this is more advanced, but it is so useful. Everyone should know about Slide Master View. Before they create their presentation or after, you can use Slide Master View to modify all of your slides or only certain layouts that are in your presentation. So again, before you even type, you can use a slide master, or if several people are sending you slides and you're putting them all together, somebody used Times New Roman, somebody used Calibri, somebody else used a different font, and you want to change all of the slides, you're going to use a slide master view. So using a slide master view is going to help you save time. You don't have to make edits on every individual slide. You are able to make your presentation uniform and professionally looking quickly and all at once. If you need to edit a font all the way through all your slides, quick and easy, you're able to do that using the master slide view. You can also customize a design theme and edit a design theme in your master slide view. So stick with me. I'm going to start first with this presentation of these 4 slides. I'm going to look at slide sorter so that you can see all of the slides. And I'm going to say that every title, who is Mass Hire, where are they located, and meet the staff. They should be bolded and larger and green, but I don't want to go into each slide and do them individually. So this is where the master is going to really work well. So I'm going to go to view off of the ribbon at the top, and I'm going to go to what we call slide master, which is this button right here. And I'm going to slide up on the left-hand side, and choose the first slide layout that has a star beside it. That star indicates that whatever changes I make to the font on this particular master slide, it'll apply it to all of the slides. Now, you don't typically type on a master. You can add pictures to the master, but let's say you wanted every title, like I mentioned, to be red or green or bolded, whatever the choices are. You highlight the text that is given in the title box, which is the text box for the title. You go home. You click the down arrow on the font color and you choose a font color. I'm going to choose this green color here. I'm going to bold it. I'm going to change the font. Instead of Calibri, I think I will choose Arial Black. And the font size is 44. I think I'll make it a little bit smaller and make it 40. So what did I do? On one master slide, I edited this title text. Now, I want to see if it's going to work. I'm going to go back to Slide Master, up on the ribbon, which is in front of the Home tab, and close this master view. And I'm in Slide Sorter View, so I can see now every title, no matter what type of slide it's on. This is a title slide. These are the title-only layouts. The text for the title is green. If I double-click and click on it, you'll see that it's Arial Black. It's font size 40. And that is for every single one of these slides. Now, let me ask you, wasn't that so much easier than opening each slide, clicking on each slide, highlighting each line of text that you would like to change the format of, and doing it 4 times because we have 4 slides? Pretty neat. Now, what if somebody says, I'd like the company logo on every slide? Okay, where do I go? View, off of the ribbon, Slide Master. I scroll up on the left-hand side and make sure that I choose by clicking on this layout that has the star, which means whatever I do is going to happen on all of the slides. Let's say I go to Insert and I go to Pictures and I look for a picture that's either on this device or maybe over the internet. So I'll go to Online Pictures for the fun of it. Sorry, it's a little slow. And I'm going to look for computer because that's my thing, right? And I am going to insert that into this slide here and use a corner handle to make it smaller. Remember, you drag in a diagonal. And maybe I would like the picture to be in the upper right-hand corner. And some pictures do come with this text here that says the photo is by an unknown author. You click once on the text. You click once on the outline, which we call the border of the text box, and you hit delete. Remember, that's how you delete a text box. So I've put this on the master slide with the star. Now I go to the Slide Master tab in front of Home and I hit Close. And you will see it showing up in the right-hand corner on every single slide. So much easier than doing copy and paste or insert picture on 4 different slides. Are you getting the idea of this? What do you think about this? Do you like it? Could this have saved you so much time if you knew how to do this before? Let me know in the chat. Someone says, very cool. I like it. Someone says, yes. Previous presentations that I've created have taken me so long to edit. This would have been a huge time saver. You see, not everybody knows about Master View. Not everybody knows what it does. So try the Master View. And remember, you can use the Master View, as I just did, on the slides that already have text on them, right? Or you can do this. File, New, Blank Presentation. Before you even start to type, again, View, Slide Master. You scroll up, you use this slide master, master number 1. It's always the number 1. Sometimes you won't see the little star there, but it's always got a number 1. None of the others have a number 1 beside it. That's the one you're going to choose. You're going to decide all of the titles. Let me highlight. Let me go home. I think they'll be bolded. I think I'll change the color to red. And instead of the font being Calibri, I will choose some, let's say, this one here, Berlin. And then I would like the company logo. So I will go to Insert, Pictures. Maybe you have on this device, you have a company logo. So I have the Mass Hire company logo. I'm going to insert that in, and maybe I'll put it at the bottom right. You then can change anything you want. So for example, when I use bullets, I'm going to go home, click the down arrow beside the bullet button, and choose the check marks instead. So I've set the defaults that every title is red and bolded in the Berlin Sans font. The Mass Hire logo is going to be at the bottom right, or maybe we'll put it at the top right. Again, wherever you decide to put it is fine. These are the consistent formats and options that you want to use. Then you're going to go back to the Slide Master tab, across the top, and close the master view with this button. You'll see your results on this first slide. You can type, or you can decide to add another slide, which will be a title and content. Another slide, maybe you're going to have a title only. Remember I said plan out what you're going to need? And notice every slide that you create, you're able to type your text. And that text is going to come out exactly how you've decided on your master. So here, for example, trainings. And every training that we put, resumes, cover letter, Microsoft Word. I'll just put a few things here. Notice every time I hit enter, you're going to get a check mark instead. And again, depending on the type of layout that you use, you'll get a text box. When you type inside, that will conform to whatever choices you made when you were using your master. So you can use your master slide view to set up all the defaults for no matter what kind of layout slide you're going to be using in your presentation. Or you can use the master after. Notice we put in the green text. We put in the picture of the computer in the upper right-hand corner. You can do it after the slides are created. Okay, take a look at this. File, New, Blank Presentation, and I'm going to go up and choose a design theme. And I'm going to choose a design theme that is, let's say, this right here. So this design theme has these two bars here. And notice the designs. Up at the top, there are variants so that I could have orange in that black gray, green, and the red. So say, for example, the green is closer to the Mass Hire colors, but maybe I want it to be green and blue, but I don't like this gray bar. I want it to be blue. Can I change it? Well, let's go and see. Where would I go? To the master. View, slide master. Now, I would like to change it for all of the next slides as well. But because I'm using a theme, I'm going to choose two masters one at a time. So the first master I'm going to choose is the title slide master. And I'm going to click, and I want you to notice this is a box that has these two slides, two shapes in it. So I'm going to go home and then shape format. And I'm not sure if you've ever used group before, but I'm going to ungroup these two objects by using shape format, ungroup. And now there's many objects here that I can change. Watch when I click here, that is one object right here, and I'm going to go to shape fill because that allows me to change the color. And I think I'll use this dark blue. It's not really the blue I'm looking for, but that's okay. I'll be very happy with it in a moment. So let me make actually a blue that you could probably see a little bit better from home. And then I'll click here and do the same thing and choose that blue, shape fill. So now I've edited the slide theme for any title slides that I might add to my presentation. And then I'll go and you'll get to see this again. I'll click on the number 1 slide, click here and go to ungroup, shape format, group and ungroup. So that's a tip to ungroup objects that look like they're together. And then I'll click. And remember the other tip is to go to shape format, shape fill. Click again on this side of the object. So there are two objects that make up one. And now watch when I close the master. The title slide has the blue and the green. And now every time I add a new slide, whether it's a title and content, whether it is a blank, whether it is a title only, I'm still going to get the colors that I'm going to be using for my theme. And I can do file. Well, actually, remember the design themes are here, and here's a new theme based on this change of color that I created. So I can apply this and then add it to my quick access toolbar so I'm always using it. So how did we do that? Well, let's take a look at our presentation. So we're using master slides. Why? So that we can format all of the slides at once. Okay? And then remember, there was when we talked about themes, there was a slide that says creating a customized, personalized template using the slide master. And that's what I just did in order to change the color of the shapes that were on the slide based on a theme that I had originally chosen. Then the slide master view, remember, is a great way. It's like a blueprint. It's a great way to edit backgrounds, fonts, any effects, any text, adding in any maybe logos, and also doing custom animation. So we did that to this presentation here as well. And then we created a new presentation that we decided to put in the logo using the master, and then decided to do the typing so you can do it before or you can do it after. So the master slide isn't always easy to grasp at first, but as long as you understand that it's going to allow you to quickly modify your slides, you have to understand slide layouts. You need to understand if you're using a theme, but remember you can apply the master, use the master before you create the slides or after you create the slides. So if somebody says to you, hey, we have last year's presentation, I want you to jazz it up with our new logo. We'll use the master. Add the logo once and it'll apply it to all of your slides. So here are the directions on how to use the slide master view. So you're going to get these slides as well as be able to listen again to this training. So again, what do you want to change? I've given you some examples, maybe adding a company logo, maybe changing the bullets. So that's what we did as a demonstration. So take a look at this slide as well. I also showed you how to customize that theme, and I wanted to give you some more instructions on how to maybe just customize the actual theme itself. And now we're ready for the file transfer, but before we do that, do you have any questions? Oh, somebody asks, how do I get your cursor, my cursor, to point in that circle like this? So as I move my mouse, you see the circle. That is a Windows setting. So if you go to your Windows, your desktop, and you right click and choose display and go to your mouse settings, you're able to choose that option. Whenever you hold down the control key and you move your mouse, you will have that circle popping up. All right, any other questions about what you went over today? So we went over the 10, 20, 30 rule, what layouts PowerPoint gives, how to use an existing theme, how to use a master to edit our slides and also edit our theme, how to apply defaults. So defaults mean what is going to be used each time you use that shape. And then just a quick how to copy your custom animations and paint them, paste them. We use paint, but it's really pasting that format onto other objects. How did you feel about today's topics, everyone? Was it worth your time today? Again, let me put in, well, go ahead and take a look at the chat. You'll see at the top, and let's see if I can get it and put it in again. We have a Mass Hire Metro North YouTube channel, which we put some of our recordings. Let me put it in the chat again. So here is the website that you are going to go to. So if anyone has used the website before, we've changed the URL and made a new site. So we have over 50 recordings and tutorials of our trainings that we do here at Mass Hire Metro North. And so you're able to watch the PowerPoint basics. You're able to watch the mini PowerPoint as well as Excel, Word, and Nancy and Brendan also put their resume and cover letter and interviewing and salary, etc. Lots of trainings that they do as well. And we've put the recordings there. So you can watch them again at your leisure, stop them, rewind them, and practice. And I hope that's what you're going to do. All right, I don't see any other questions. Feel free to put a question into the chat. So I did post the download again. I hope everyone got it. And let's go to the file transfer. So I'm going to give you my email address. This is only if the download doesn't work today for you. So just in case the download doesn't work, please email me. Let me know that you want the PowerPoint tips and tricks presentation because you weren't able to download it, and I will be glad to email it to you. So let's try the download right now. All right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing, and your screen is going to now show Mass Hire Metro North. I am going to go get a file that is going to show up on my screen in just a moment. The name of it's going to show up. And the name of it is PowerPoint Tips and Tricks. Now, can you see it? If you don't worry, just email me. I'll be glad to send it to you. But if you do see this, just click on this once. Come on up and click on download. And you'll be asked a question, so you answer yes. And then you'll be able to save it to your documents folder so you can open it immediately after we are done today. So again, I hope you're able to download. Click once with your left mouse button. Click once with your left mouse button on download. Answer yes, and then don't forget to click on the save button. So thank you for putting in a few comments into the chat. I'd love to know what you thought about today's training, and I hope to see you again in the future trainings. Next week we are off, so the Career Center is closed for the week, and we'll be back again in 2022, so I hope I see you then. So you have a great day. Thank you again for joining me. It's my pleasure to teach you. Good luck with your job search. Have a wonderful holiday. And maybe some of you are coming back tomorrow for Google Apps. I hope that is the case. And if not, again, see you in 2022. Happy holidays, everyone. Bye-bye. I'm going to do a few things behind the scenes, and then I'll shut it down. Take care.